Good morning, student. Today we are going to start class 7th s.st. Geography, chapter number 12, Tropical and Subtropical Regions, part 2. So, student, in the previous video, I had explained about the tropical region in which we had took the example of Amazon basin, and we also read about on what physical base the Amazon basin is located. Next, we had also read about the climatic condition of the Amazon basin, as well as on the basis of climatic condition, what kind of natural vegetation is found and what kind of wildlife is found in that natural vegetation. Also, we have read about the life of people and how they survive, what they do for their livelihood, and what kind of development took place in that particular area. Now, in this video, we'll read about the subtropical region that we have took one of the example of subtropical regions, that is the Ganga Brahmaputra basin. So that lies in Indian subcontinent. Let us begin with the Ganga Brahmaputra basin and we also see what is the physical base of the Ganga Brahmaputra basin. So as you see in the map of India, that the Ganga river that colored in the blue and the Brahmaputra river that is also colored in blue. There you can see the Brahmaputra river is there. You can see the Yarlung Jangbo or Sangpo, it is there. From there it is in Tibet part. So from there it reaches in the Indian subcontinent and then move toward the Bangladesh and drawn into the Bay of Bengal. Here in the Ganga, there you can see the Ganga is flow from the Gangotri glaciers, start from the Gangotri glaciers, move toward the different Himalayan regions, and then come into the plain area of the Indian subcontinent, and then move toward the lower areas, and then Bangladesh, and then reaches to the Bay of Bengal. So basically, we have to see now. You can see in the map as well. The Ganga had several tributaries like Ganga, Yamuna, Ghagra, Gomti, Gandak, Kosi, Tamsa, Betwa, Damodar. There are several tributaries of the Ganga river is there. So all these areas which comes under the Ganga river and its tributary rivers basin, that is known as Ganga basin. And Brahmaputra basin, the Brahmaputra and its tributary different tributaries you can see Subansiri, Lohit, and when it reaches near the Bangladesh, there is you can see the Tetsa, and then Padma, Meghna. There are several rivers which are the part of the Brahmaputra river that creates the Brahmaputra basin. Now there you can see the whole part of Ganga and Brahmaputra. It stretches over from the eastern part of the Indian subcontinent to the northern as well as mid Indian continent of the India subcontinent of the India. So this is the place where this Ganga Brahmaputra basin lies. Now let us begin with the topic. It is located in the subtropical region between 10 degree north to 30 degree north. You have also already seen in the different temperate different heat zones where the India is lies in the tropical region, as well as in the 10 degree north of the latitude, as well as at the 30 degree northern latitude in the temperate zone. So those areas comes under the subtropical zone as well. So that Ganga Brahmaputra lies in that. It is located in the subtropical region. The Ganga Brahmaputra valley is one of the most fertile riverine plain in the world. So as you have seen in the map that several river are flows, the tributaries of the Ganga and the Brahmaputra flows over these areas. So this area makes the most fertile plains in the world. Built over thousands of years through a deposition of sediment that brought by the rivers Ganga and Brahmaputra and their tributaries, the plain extended through. So basically the rivers like Ganga and Brahmaputra and their tributaries brought several alluviums, and they deposited their sediments in those plain areas and make that area fertile. Example you can see from Delhi to Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, and some part of Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh. So these are the area which comes under the Ganga Brahmaputra basin. This basin is bounded by the Himalaya in the north. As you can see, the Nepal is there. So, though the Brahmaputra and Ganga both originate from the Himalayan region, so that is why we can say that these two rivers, the Himalaya is at the northern part of the Ganga and Brahmaputra river, as well as in the southern part of these two rivers, that is the peninsular plateau, as well as uh, this Ganga Brahmaputra area is somewhere merges with the Indus plain. So Indus plain is also there. So Indus river and its tributaries river is lie in the northern and western part of the Indian subcontinent. So that Indus plain is made by the Indus river. So in the Indus plain lies in the west of the Ganga Brahmaputra basin, and it is from there only it is reaches up to the Brahmaputra valley in the east. So basically what it is there you can understand easily. The Himalaya lies in the north, the peninsular plateau lies in the south, and in the western part of the Ganga Brahmaputra basin is the Indus plain, and in the eastern, that is the Brahmaputra valley. You can already see from there in the map. The river Ganga originates from its source in Himalaya. Where? From which source? That is the Gangotri glaciers. Means from the Gangotri glaciers only the Ganga originate. Then where it reaches to the slope of land of the northern plains. So from originate from the Gangotri and it reaches to the waters. What is the feature of water that flows from high land to the low land? Means from the higher elevated area to the lower areas. So originating from the Himalaya, then reaches to the plains of the Indian subcontinent, and it does not float alone, it flow with head stream. There are several head stream of the Ganga like Bhagirathi, Alaknanda, that they joins at the Devprayag. So the different head stream of the Ganga which comes together and forms the river Ganga. So examples like Alaknanda and Bhagirathi. So these are the two rivers which started from the Himalayan regions, and then when they meet at Devprayag, that they form the river Ganga. And it has several tributaries like Yamuna, Gomti, Som, Kosi, Damodar. So they are the helping river. They are the tributaries of the Ganga river, which makes these area very fertile. As you know very well, the river always brought the alluvium with them, and they deposited at the bank of the river. The river changes its courses as well. They changes their path as well. So whichever the path is left behind, those area is become fertile. The Brahmaputra basin or the Brahmaputra river, when it originates from the Himalaya, it is in Tibet, and in Tibet this Brahmaputra river is known as Sangpo or Yarlung Zangbo. This is the river Brahmaputra that beyond the Himalayas of Chemayang Dung glaciers near the lake Mansarovar in Tibet. So this is the origination of the Brahmaputra river. Where it originates from? It is originate from the Mansarovar lake in Tibet from Chemayang Dung glacier. The river bent westward after entering the Arunachal Pradesh in India. It then flows through Assam and enters the Bangladesh, where it joins the Ganga. Now you can see in the map where the young Yarlang Zangbo is there, or the Sangpo. Now you can see the blue line that is from the Tibet to the Arunachal Pradesh, where it reaches and it turns. And when it turns westward, so it started flowing in from the Arunachal Pradesh to the Assam, and then it reaches to the Bangladesh. and then it joins with the Ganga river in the Bangladesh, and then they flow in the drain in the Bay of Bengal. The Manas and Tista are the two main tributaries of the Brahmaputra river, as well as Lohit, Sankosh, Raidak. These are the other rivers which are the tributaries of the Brahmaputra river that flow down the Himalayan region. Means they are the helping river of the Brahmaputra river, and they flow from the Himalayan to the down areas of the Himalayan regions. Flowing eastward, the Ganga meets with the Brahmaputra in Bangladesh and forms the river Padma in Bangladesh. So when Brahmaputra and Ganga, when they reaches in the Bangladesh, they considered as a Padma. So the name changes here. The Ganga and Brahmaputra, when they merge, they known as Padma. Before flowing into the Bay of Bengal, after forming a world largest delta, fertile, that is the Ganga Brahmaputra delta. So when they reaches towards the Bay of Bengal, they before draining in the Bay of Bengal, they form the delta. It is the world largest delta, that is known as Ganga Brahmaputra delta, and it is also known as Sundarban. So you have already read several things about the Ganga Brahmaputra delta or the Sundarban delta in your previous classes as well. Why they are known as Sundarban delta? Because the deltaic region is the feature, or it is known for the Sundarban or the Sundari trees, and because of the Sundari trees, those areas were known as Sundarban. So Ganga Brahmaputra delta or Sundarban delta, it is the world largest delta that is formed by the river Brahmaputra as well as river Ganga. Now, being this part, let us see what kind of climate is here. So they are present in the subtropical regions, means between the 10 degree to 30 degree northern hemisphere. So what kind of climate will be there in this zone? So these are the these are the monsoon type of climate they experience, and the seasonal reversal of wind. So what is seasonal reversal of the wind? Means that the winds maintain the climate of these regions. Hot and dry summers means the summers are very hot as well as dry, means there is less moisture, as well as the winters are cool and dry. So winters is also cool as well as dry. So these kind of climate is make the suitable for the growth of the agriculture. So if the climatic condition is like that, so the agriculture will be definitely different. So this kind of climate gives the opportunity to grow more over here. As well as we can see the area is covered by the rainy season, means the rainy season is also very well over here because of the southwest monsoon winds. So these monsoon winds brought the rainfall over 200 centimeter over there, that provide the regular water supply to these areas. So if the water is there, land is there, as well as the fertile area is also there, so what else is needed for the growth of the crops or the agriculture? So these areas provide the best suitable place for the agriculture purposes. Rainfall is heaviest in the delta region and the Brahmaputra valley, and decreases westward up to the Ganga valley. So if we talk about the rain, so we'll see the most rainfall is occur in the Brahmaputra valley region, and when we move toward the westward, toward the Ganga valley, the rainfall is started decreasing. So means that the Brahmaputra valley receives the maximum amount of rainfall. So that is the reason only maximum floods are there in the Brahmaputra valley regions. So you have already read in the news the Assam and Arunachal Pradesh suffer from the flood. There the river is overflooded. So you have already seen or heard in news. So this is the reason where the Brahmaputra get overflooded because of the increase in rainfall or the maximum number of rainfall. But when we reaches to the Ganga Valley regions, so this rainfall is getting decreased. Most of the tributaries of the Ganga river overflow, causing the large scale destruction of the life and the property. Okay, now one more important thing, the Ganga and its several tributaries, when they get overflowed near the region of the Bihar and Bangladesh or Kolkata region. So you have already heard in the news that the Bihar and Bangladesh and the West Bengal is causing the flood. You have seen in the several news channels, or you had heard or read in newspaper. So this is the reason. This is the reason when the river overflooded, when the Ganga river overflooded due to the rainfall in the river bodies or the water bodies of the different Ganga and its tributaries. So that causes the flood in these areas. So flood always cause a destruction of the life as well as property. So many people are died in these kind of flood, and also loss of many properties is also seen very common in this climate uh, in the Ganga Brahmaputra region. Now, so the climate is very good. So let us see what kind of vegetation is found in this region. So this regions experience the good climate. So the tropical monsoon deciduous forest is adopted by adopted in this region. So this kind of trees or the forest like teak, sal, mahua. So these are the trees basically found in this region. So these trees shed their leaves in the dry winter. So during the winter season, they shed their leaves, as well as why they shed their leaves, because that they can make the less use of water during the winter season. So there is a very limited quantity of water is present. So because of that only they shed their leaves. Bamboo is very common in the Brahmaputra Valley. So if you will go towards the Brahmaputra Valley like Arunachal Pradesh and Assam and other region, so bamboo is the most common uh, plant or the trees which is found in the Brahmaputra Valley. In the higher altitude of Himalaya, coniferous forests are found. So if we go upwards to the upward to the Himalayan regions where the Ganga originate, so these areas were covered by the coniferous forest. As you have already read in the previous classes or the previous videos, the higher altitudes makes the trees in the conical shape, and because of that the coniferous forest is also found. The deltaic tract are occupied by the Sundari trees. As I said, the Sundarban is named given by the Sundari trees, and because of that only the Sundarban delta is emerged. Or this region, the flora which is found in this region, it adopted the deltaic region, or we can say deltaic area, where the saline and tidal conditions make the plant to grow like that only. So Sundari is the good example of the saline and uh, tidal originated plants, we can say, means the tides help the plant to grow over there. So this area is considered by the UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. This is considered as UNESCO's World Heritage Site, means it is most visited place in the world and preserved place in the world. Now, nowadays the forests have been cleared. So what is the reason behind that? This is the place, the Ganga regions are the place where the maximum amount of population is there. So the density of population is more in the Ganga Brahmaputra Valley, because this river is very valuable from the ancient time till today. So these valleys are considered as most crowded areas, and the people started the cutting down the trees. That led to the establishment of people, or we can say the establishment of industries. People can settle over there and they do the agriculture for their basic needs. Now, so let us see what kind of vegetation the vegetation prevails the wildlife. So here you can see the tropical monsoon type of forest is found. So let us see the what kind of wildlife is present. So it is mostly concentrated in the Sundarban region, part of the Brahmaputra Valley. So if we'll talk about the wildlife, so wildlife is only, or the mostly we can say, it is found in the Sundarban Delta as well as into the Brahmaputra Valley. Examples like elephant, rhinoceros, tigers, deer, monkeys, as well as the wide variety of fish such as rohu, katla, hilsa, and as well as crocodile and alligator is found. So crocodile and alligator is found in the Sundarban region where the swampy area is there. As well as the our national animal, that is a Royal Bengal tiger, it is found in the Sundarban forest, as well as one horned rhinoceros is found in the Brahmaputra plain. So if you have seen the one horned rhinoceros in picture and all, so this one horned rhinoceros is found in the Brahmaputra valley or the Brahmaputra regions. The floodplain of the Brahmaputra are marked by the large number of wetland and which serve as a unique habitat for the great number of plants and animals. So wetland is there. Wetland is means the plain, the valleys areas where the several type of plant and animal species is found in the Brahmaputra regions. Now, due to the population, the growth of the population, people have started cutting down the trees. So because of that only, the wildlife is also affected through that. So this is our responsibility to make these areas uh, to preserve, to make the preserves or the preservation for these animals. The government has took several initiative by establishing the national park and sanctuaries and reserves, so that these animals can be preserved. So it is our responsibility to make them, to give the protection to these wildlife as well as our natural vegetation, so that we can enjoy our lifestyle as well. Now, so let us see the next topic, that is the life of the people. So what kind of people is, how they live, basically what they do for their earning, what kind of climatic condition they face, what they grow over there. Let us see. So the Ganga Brahmaputra basin, it is the world most important agriculture region. As you know, as I explained earlier, the river Ganga and its tributary Brahmaputra and its tributary make the whole area very fertile, and being very fertile, so these areas grows the amount of amount of agriculture production. So this is also considered as in the Indian subcontinent especially, it is the most fertile area where the most agricultural work is done. Being the most agricultural area, this is the most densest place also, as I explained that the river flows here, the river valleys also present in these areas. So because of that only, the density of people, the maximum number of people is found over in these regions. The fertile alluvium, the flat plains, and the climate support the cultivation of rice, jute, maize, wheat, millet, sugarcane, tea, oilseeds, and pulses. So the variety of the crops is grown in these areas. So what is the reason behind that? The reason is that the suitable climatic condition, the facilities of the irrigation, and the needs of the people. So all these makes the growth of the several agricultural crops, like as I explained, rice, wheat, jute, wheat, and all. The yield per acre are among the highest in the world. So in a acre, what we can grow enough in a common areas, so the growth of, or the yield of the production of the per acre is more than the other part of the world. So what is the reason behind that? Because of the alluvium tract is found over here. So that is the reason which makes the maximum amount of production of per acre over in the world. The tea plantation is very common in the Assam as well as West Bengal. Darjeeling and Assam are the Assam tea are very famous all over the world, means it is exported in the other part of the world as well. intensive agriculture is practiced in this region. What is intensive? A small level agriculture is practiced. Very few people own the land and they do the agriculture for their daily needs. Sometimes if surplus is there, so they sell the surplus. Otherwise, they used to feed themselves only. Wherever the rainfall is insufficient, a well-developed irrigation system is maintained. So when rainfall, you have heard that the Brahmaputra Valley receive the maximum rainfall, but when we move toward the westward area to the Ganga Valley, so rainfall is becoming less. So where the insufficient water is there, so they developed the irrigation facility like canals, wells. So these makes the water available in these region, so that they can grow several things. They also use the organic as well as chemical fertilizer, so that they can maintain the soil fertility, as well as they can grow two seasons crop like Kharif and Rabi, as well as they also grow the third crops wherever the possible. Wherever the possible means where like if they grow Kharif crops or the summer crops or Rabi crops or the winter crops, so in between they get the time they used to grow the third crops as well. So this is the beneficial of the climatic as well as the natural topographic topographic feature of the Ganga Brahmaputra Valley. They also used to do mixed cropping. What is mixed cropping? That is means where they can grow the crops as well. They carry the cattles. Means they used to keep the cow, buffalo, and several cattles, so that they can do side by side the agriculture as well as cattle rearing. Crop rotation is done. Crop rotation means they grow one crop in 1 year, next crop in the next year. So the maintenance of the soil fertility that can be remain. And intercropping is also there. So like they grow one crops and another crops in a same land. So this makes the soil fertile, as well as the soil fertility cannot be extracted at the same time. So these are done in the Ganga Brahmaputra Valley regions. The northern plains have extremely fertile soils. So as I said, the most of the rivers of the Ganga and its tributaries flow over these areas. So these areas is known as the extremely fertile areas. And there we had find the three types of soil. That is a bhabur. Bhabur is a soil which is found in the higher tracts of the Himalayas, like in the lowlands of the Himalayas, lower areas of the Himalayas. That is we can say it contains the small stones or the small boulders is present in these soils. The small stones is found in these soils. But when this bhabur soil, when the river flows, when the river leaves the bhabur area, when they reaches to the lower valleys of the lower valleys of the Ganga plain, so they are known as the bangar or known as alluvial soil. And when it reaches to the next part or the lower level of the valley or the regions, that is known as khadar or the new alluvium. Now, so khadar is soils that is found in the low areas of the valley, bottom of the valley, which are flooded every year. So if the bangar is found in the higher regions of the plain areas, like it is it is coarse in texture, means it is fine, and it is the less fertile as well. And the khadar is the new one. So how the new khadar is found? See, when the bhabur soil is there, so when we move toward the plain area of the Ganga region, so bangar is found. Bangar is the old soil. Old soil means when the river changes its course, and the left soil, which is the remains, so that is known as bangar. It is older alluvium, it is less fertile, but when the river flows in the new area, the new path, so that is overflooded every year. So because of the overflooded, so flood brings the several alluvium with them, and they deposit it into those areas. So that deposited area forms a new soil. That new soil or the new alluvium is known as khadar. So khadar is comparatively more fertile than the bangar. So these kind of soil is found in the Ganga Brahmaputra valley. So bangar and khadar makes the area fertile, and so that these people, those who are living in these areas, they can grow several crops. Alongside the cultivation of crops, most farmers for uh, raise animals for their milk, like meat, uh, and milk and meat they grow, means they get the milk and meat from those animals. Like they do poultry, where they can keep the chickens and hens, goat, pig, cattle, and the cattles are used as a draught animals. So draught animals means where they can keep the animals uh, where their necessity is very low, so that they can survive in the drought areas as well. Fishing is very important here. They do on at the commercial scale, and they also used to feed the local peoples as well as the nearby towns and the cities, so that they can feed those people by doing the fishing. Based on the agriculture produce, several agro-based industries such as textile, sugar, edible oil, etc. have developed in these regions. So agriculture produce is found. The several agriculture products is produces over there. So here agro-based industries is found. Like they grow they used to form the textile industry. They used to form the sugar. They used to form the edible oil industries. So these areas becomes the reason of the cottage and small scale industries, where the small industries are established, and these industries provide the job opportunities as well as finished good to the market to feed the needs of the people. uh, Automobiles, engineering, chemicals, fertilizer, electronics, oil refineries, and numerous other small and medium scale industrials unit provide the employment to the millions inhabiting in these regions. So these kind of industries provide the employment to these people, those who are living in those areas. In the upper Brahmaputra valley, the petroleum deposit have encouraged the development of refineries as well as the petrochemical factories. So one of the important thing you have to understand that Brahmaputra valley contains the petrochemical refineries. What is petrochemical refineries? Means where the petroleum product is fine, so that they can extract those the minerals from the they can dig out the petrochemicals and they used to sell. So that makes the Brahmaputra valley famous for the products. The belt of agricultural land are also interspersed with numerous towns and cities, and the spread of urbanization combined with the development of roads and railways. So here the agricultural land is started increasing. What is the reason behind that? The reason is that the population is growing, numerous towns and cities started developing, and because of that the roads and railways are started constructing, so they need the land. So in what we did, we already cut the several forests and make it agricultural land. Now agricultural land is also using for the purpose of inhabitation of the people as well as construction of the roadways and railways. The density of population here is very more. As I told, the climatic condition is good, the agriculture and irrigation is very good, everything it is very good, so the maximum number of people resides over there. Two famous place over here, that is the Kolkata and Chittagong. These are the two ports that is situated here in the Ganga Brahmaputra basin, as well as they conduct the international trade, and also that they contacted with the not only in India, they contacted with the other part of the world. A dense network of road and railways has been made possible due to the flat topography of the region. So roadways and railways are made because of the flat topography. The plain areas is found over here. So because of that only the roadways and railways is found in this region. Rivers and tributaries serve as a significance inland waterways. So waterways is very important. Inland waterways is very important. So you have read the River is also there. Their tributaries also there. Brahmaputra River is also there, and the tributaries also there. So these makes the inland waterway transport very common. As well as airport is also there. So in the Ganga Brahmaputra region as well as Brahmaputra region have the several airports. Human interaction with the environment has resulted a very rapid pace of development. So people have started cutting down they started changing their physical features. They started changing first they have changed the forest into the agricultural land, then they had started changing into their needs, or according to their own needs, like constructing the roadways, railways, airports, several industries, and for the settlement as well. However, it has also brought within problems associated with the urbanization. So the area is remains same, the agricultural land is also same, but the population is started growing. So this create the problem as well. This gives the benefit as well as problem, like river problem. People have started polluting the river. Slum is also very important, very big problem. People, those who are inadequate, those who are living in inadequate manner, so these are known as slum due to the lack of the money. The water and power shortage is very common in these areas, as well as overburdened transport system. People have uh, to use those particular fixed form of transport system. So because of that, that is overburdened. Overcrowded cities, people have started residing over in a large number of uh, in the large number over there. Housing shortage is also there. So because of the housing shortage, people started living in slum. And unemployment. So maximum, earlier it was the places of employment, but when crowd is more, so these areas is converted into the place of unemployment because of the maximum number of people. A lot of need to be done to restore the balance between physical and biological environment. So as I told earlier also, the population is good, okay, but the necessities of people is very bad. So because of the necessities, we need everything. We all are human beings, we need several things. So necessities does not over that we have to change our the environment. So this is the thing we have to think about it, that our necessities should not exceed the environment. There are several NGOs and the government, they works on these problems. They wanted to resolve all these so that the human pressure on the land can be outweighed, so that the dependence of the humans can be dependence of the land on the land of human being can be less, so that the nature can sustain. So this is the topic that we have to discuss in this video. Now you have to write the climatic condition of the Ganga Brahmaputra basin in your homework copy. Thank you, student.